Come on, man, you already. That light's on, so of course, flight's on. And welcome to this newest edition of IG50I. That's right, I got 5 on it with your boy Craig, aka TOP_FLYT3 if you're following on Twitter. And what more can I say? 6-3. Chargers go out and handle their business in convincing fashion. Well, in the second half. Things were a little murky in the first half. There was a call that, because it got flipped the other direction, maybe also changed the course of the game. Still think the Chargers would have pulled it out nonetheless, but did make things seemingly interesting for a minute. But let's deep dive into all of it because there is much to discuss. So without further ado, if I had to pare this game down to one thing, if I had to give it a theme, it would probably be efficiency because all the bases were covered. Justin Herbert, let's start with the passing game. Why not? 14 for 18 with 1 passing TD and 1 rushing. Now, it should have been more like 16 for 18 with at least 2 TDs, but we'll chop that up later. You had 145 yards rushing with both J.K. Dobbins and a healthy Gus Edwards at 50 and 55 yards rushing respectively, and there were 8 different receivers that saw targets. Now, in a matchup where the run game technically ruled the day from a play calling standpoint, this game felt oddly balanced on offense. When I looked at the stat line, when all was said and done, I was a little shocked to see that Herbert only had 18 attempts. For some reason, it felt like more to me. But then when you look at the pacing of the game and how fast it went by, you realize that it was about the ground and pound. And this is exactly the type of offense this team wants to run. And dare I say, for the most part on Sunday, they basically did it to perfection. So, bravo. Oh, yeah. Looks like a fully serviced vehicle to me. The bus got new tires, an oil change, brakes, an alignment. Maybe still needs a wiper replacement because there was one short yardage run that should have been converted, but I'm kind of sort of picking nits here. Gus Edwards looked every bit the downhill force we imagined this offseason when the Chargers signed him. He, for the most part, looked decisive, and beyond that, was running behind his pads again. Cats were paying bus fare on nearly all 10 of those carries. I mean, he was picking up at point of contact and dropping off a few yards later. That is going to come in handy for the stretch run alongside J.K. Dobbins because in weeks 11 through 18, most defenses won't want to deal with a fresh Gus Edwards. I mean, his early season injury may prove itself to have been a blessing in disguise when you think back on it. We'll see a few weeks down the line, but man, it felt good to have the bus back fully ready to go and plowing through cats in the defense. My issue early on in the season, it looked like, or I will say that to me, I'd never seen Gus Edwards go backwards as many times as I had in those first few games. Come to find out, he had an ankle injury, and it looks like he just had to go into the shop for a little bit. But now he's kicking, revved up, and ready to go. So the Chargers offense will be that much better for it. Look out. This ain't going to be pretty the rest of the way. And especially if you have to travel and go on the road in inclement weather, this is exactly my ideal situation and what I envisioned for late in the season. So if anybody's happy about it, it's old school football me. Hey, yo, fam, look. I only got like 2 real shots in the dark at this. Either Justin Herbert is ascending into his final form or dude did the fusion dance with Allen Iverson before kickoff on Sunday. Either way, this is the best version of 10 in my eyes. Let's just say moving forward on average 20 to 25 attempts per game with anywhere from like 3 to 5 called runs and him looking to escape the pocket on those 5 to 7 step drops on obvious passing downs. And hey, if your first couple of reads aren't there to avoid and save yourself from the travesty that is the interior offensive line, even though they did play better this week, still want to get to the perimeter. Of course, eyes downfield, looking to get the ball off to one of your receivers. But if you can catch the defense napping, specifically if they're playing man-to-man defense with their backs turned to them, 10 can get you an easy first down. I mean, we're talking about big runs too, not just the 10 to 12 variety, because Buddy can move. Lest we forget that run to the Rose Bowl at Oregon, like literally the run, because he was utilizing his legs for the majority of that. And he played some really awesome football as a dual threat guy, which he doesn't get enough credit for because he hasn't done it a ton as a pro. I think the last regime was trying to protect him and force him into being primarily a pocket QB, but Buddy can scoot. And honestly, this is what makes a Greg Roman offense historically difficult to defend. I mean, I'm not even convinced this wasn't the plan all along. It just wasn't an option with Herbert battling through that high ankle sprain. Folks, 10 is an athlete, and I don't think defenders truly understand to what degree until they see a 6'6", 240-pound thoroughbred chewing up turf in a way that completely catches them off guard. Dang, K9. Hate it had to be you, champ. Did Sunday go the way you thought it would? Nope. Dude got hit with a Uno reverse. Let's just go through some of his highlights, shall we? On the opening drive, he gets baked by Will Dissly for 14 yards. Later on, Justin Herbert probably still has his ankles planted in SoFi Field. Y'all might want to go recover those. Then he gets smoked by QJ later for a touchdown. I feel like Jim Harbaugh should have given him one of those imaginary game balls too. He's just the gift that keeps on giving, and we do appreciate your services here. Look, man, it's not my fault. I don't have a problem with Kenneth Murray personally. I'm just tripped out at the fact that Tennessee watched 4 years of K9 in a Chargers jersey and walked away saying, "Give me that," while continuing to chef up flame broiled Kenneth Murray patties. Sounds like a fun time. I'd rather move on to something that's a little bit more concerning. It might be time for the Spaneye to just go ahead and give another blank check, this time to Jesse Minter. Look, Jesse, please don't go. I'm starting to hear your name pop up in NFL circles more and more. It's really got me worried. I even heard Jim Harbaugh on the Pat McAfee show all but say that Minter is definitely going to be an NFL coach next year. Or did he actually say that? It was something along those lines. I could be paraphrasing it incorrectly. I don't care. It's just too close to sounding like a definite for me. Listen, man, on Sunday, with less than a handful of snaps from Khalil Mack, who to me is the heartbeat of this defense, and a still hampered Joey Bosa, and still 2 fifth-round corners, plus Eli Apple, who you probably wouldn't know is on the field unless someone physically points him out to you, this remains the #1 scoring defense in the entire NFL. Look, after getting off to a slow start, they really revved it up and finished with 7 sacks. Side note, the Chargers didn't give up one. We'll, again, talk about that more on After Hours. But hell, it turned into a house party at SoFi. Shout out to Kid and Play, by the way. Deion Henley, Bud Dupree had a twofer, Thule doubled up, Poona Ford had one, even Joey got home on one good cheek. So yeah, shout out to him for that. But look, hey man, say man, what do we got to do? Do we have to start a GoFundMe? Bitcoin is up. You trying to diversify, Jesse? Look, after the hell Brandon Staley put us through, we deserve more than 1 year of this. I might have to holler at Garrett. Look, if you're watching this, G, make the call. Tell your illegitimate stunt double we ain't letting him go without a fight. With that being said, moving on to Sunday night. Primetime versus Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and potentially T. Higgins. That kid Andrei Yosevich, he ain't a pushover either. This is going to be the defense's biggest test yet. If they can contain that high-flying football circus act, with this defense being held together by a stick of Wrigley's gum and scotch tape, I might have to put a Jesse Minter shrine in my closet. And I ain't talking about that disrespectful shamakri of a statue the Miami Heat constructed to honor Dwayne Wade either. You know, the one that looks like the transformation from man to wolf in the Sega Genesis game Altered Beast. Nah, like a real decked out. It could be pictures. It might be a physical statue. I ain't figured it out yet. If he makes this happen on Sunday, we gotta discuss some stuff. But look, man, that's it. We got a bunch more coming this week. This next slate of games is really going to put this team to the test, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. And if they can come out of it smelling like roses for the most part, you got a real contender this year. And this team may have an opportunity to go further than what we may have even suspected. But again, you've got legitimate matchups on the horizon, so they have to show improve. And right now, I'm feeling pretty good about it, because if they're able to hold it together right now with some of the pieces that they have missing, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, and you see this offense starting to really take off, you gotta feel some level of confidence. I absolutely do. So that's it for me. Till next time, folks. Again, y'all know who it is, Mr. TOP_FLYT3 over on Twitter, and catch us later in the week. More shows. Looking forward to it. But again, appreciate y'all for checking in with your boy. Oh, also, always forget to do this. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate you. It helps to grow the channel, and we want to keep pumping out this content for you. So if you would be so kind to help us along the way, again, you are much appreciated. But again, till the next time, catch y'all later, and I am gone.